What's up, y'all? We are live. We are doing this. What exactly are we doing? Well, gonna be breaking down some world stage shenanigans like we always do around here. Shenanigans. I spent the last like 5 months covering fake football. And I told you guys that when fake football ends, I was going to get back to work covering the rest of the fake world besides just football. And it's always an awkward period when the season ends for me to have to like transition into talking about how the news is fake. But this year, they scripted it so that I can seamlessly transition my new audience with my old audience and basically put you all together as one. My old audience has seen me break down so many of these PSYOP events that they've been waiting for me to get back to doing it. Meanwhile, the new audience, some of you guys might not realize, they don't just script football, they script your news. They can script your news like 10 years in advance or more. For instance, if you want to plan some buildings coming down, takes years and years and years of planning. So if they can script something like buildings coming down, and that takes years and years of planning, that means they script your news in advance. All right. Anyone wondering tonight about the where my hat is or any of that? I don't feel that great today. I woke up with like a slight bit of a headache, and it just hasn't gone away. And the hat makes it worse when I put it on. So I just don't feel like wearing it. And since I don't feel totally 100 tonight, I might not be quite as wacky, wild, and zany. And I might take it a little more easy. But I'm still going to try my best to get through this because it is an important subject. So, how are we all doing tonight? Got Jonah here. Hello, Jonah. How's it going? Glad you could make it. Holden Smith here. This is Rose Bill. How you doing, Rose? How was that rigger bowl? Rose is here. She says hello, everyone. Andy's here. Says what's up. Hello. Glad you could make it. All my mods, all my party people. David Yount. Jack Ryan says, go deeper than world events. That's just the play out level. Dude, there's a lot of people who just subscribed to my channel in the last couple months that don't even realize that these events like that happened in KC can be totally fake. So I'm going to go over it tonight and blow some people's minds that haven't wrapped their head around the fact that more than just football is fake. So there's people who were like, Jake, how can you script someone dying? Well, newsflash, not everyone who the news says is dead actually dies. You guys remember when Tupac died? Yeah, there's a popular theory that he's not dead. And I share in that theory that Tupac's not dead. Meanwhile, you still have Snoop Dogg and Mike Tyson and all his homies still telling the same story that he died. So there's a whole lot of fake bullshit that's been going on a long time. And people fake dying is nothing new. So I want to give a quick instruction to my mods. Mods, listen up. Anyone with a wrench, listen up. If anyone in this chat says anything related to it's real because I had friends who were there. One of my friends got bang, bang. If you see any of that, I want you to get rid of that person. I won't be able to monitor everything that happens and run my stream. I can't read every single thing and run the stream and talk to you at the same time. So mods, anybody claiming it was real because my friend was there, bounce them immediately. I don't put up with that at all. This is not my first rodeo. I've done this countless times, and there's always at least a handful of I had a friend was there guys. Funny how someone always has a friend who was there and they show up to the Jake the Asshole stream while I'm talking about the thing that was staged. Not my first rodeo. So if you're planning on trying that, my friend was there. My friend had to duck from the bullets. You're going to get bounced. Just letting you know. It's not going to work here. Okay? Yes, I've heard it already. Jake, this one was real because my friend was there and a bullet whizzed by his head and he told me so. Oh, really? Don't ever come back to my channel ever again, and I fucking hate you. Want me to repeat that? Okay. Are you guys ready to have some fun tonight? So here's the deal. I have to like watch what I say and how I say what I say tonight. I'm going to be talking about a situation that involves a shoe word. You know, shoe. Ting! So rather than say that word a bunch of times and trigger some sort of algorithm or whatever, censorship, what I'll do is instead say bang, bang. Understand? So I'm going to say KC bang, bang situation, and you guys are going to know what I'm talking about, right? So certain key words I've learned to dance around, and I have avoided censorship because I'm doing a comedy routine. This stream has been labeled comedy. I'm going to dance around their key words, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think is going on, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And it's all a comedy performance intended for entertainment purposes only. And I always like to preference that before I do one of these. All right, Robbie says, Jake, this is very offensive. People are actually sad about this and they can't make it up, so it's obviously real. Jake, this is very offensive. People are actually sad about this and they can't make it up. Robbie, thanks for your money, but are you trying to suggest I'm wrong and that this event is real because people are sad? Is that what you're telling me, Robbie? Robbie, I don't care if you send me money. I will bounce you. So you better explain yourself promptly. Are you saying this is a real event and that I'm wrong, Robbie? Is that what because people are sad? Do you know, Robbie, that in America you can say 33 puppies were killed? And everyone will go, oh, that's so sad. But they can make the story up. Doesn't have to be real. The news can say whatever they want. And when people watch the news and believe it, it makes them sad. But it doesn't make it real. See how that works? Stupid people who believe everything on the news might be sad over the news that they watch, but it doesn't make the news that they watch real. You being sad or hearing something on the news doesn't make the event that they're talking about legitimate. All right, Randy Ryan Handy says, Jake, or what's up, Jake? So glad fake phony football is over. Yeah, I was ready to talk about something new, and they basically scripted fake reality for me to transition from fake football right into fake news, just like that. They made it very easy on me. This is going to be so easy for me tonight to absolutely destroy this bullshit premise. Did the guy ever try and explain himself? Where is he at? Robbie, let's see. Has Robbie said anything? Has he tried to refute me saying that it's bullshit? Okay. He might have been, it might have been sarcasm. So if it's sarcasm and I got you wrong, I apologize. I'm on edge because whenever I do one of these, I get some really crazy mm, chills, who show up and try and derail me. And they have uh, no shortage of accounts to tell me, dude, you're wrong about this one because my friend was there and he knows someone who got hurt. Oh, and you just so happen to be here to tell me the one guy on the whole internet who's going to break this down live. Wow. So, yeah, I've dealt with this so many times that I'm already prepared for it. See what I'm saying? I'm already ready for it. You guys ready to dive in to this story? So, the first one we're going to start with uh, I got all these videos cataloged for us to go over. The first one I want to start with is the news is fake 4. The news is fake 4 is a channel that grabs these clips of the actors involved in these events, and he takes the best clips of the actors involved and he highlights the things that they say that don't quite make sense and the smiles. He makes sure to get the smiles. So I'm going to give a shout out. I don't usually give shout outs to other channels because I don't really trust many channels, but I will give a shout out to the News is Fake 4. He does good work breaking down. Well, he doesn't so much break down these events in these videos. He just catalogs the best / worst actors. So I'll go ahead and play this video and then we're going to talk about it. And see, here's the thing. I'm allowed to say that I don't buy what's on the news. That's perfectly acceptable. There's no guidelines that say that I can't say that. So I'm allowed to say I don't buy what the news is selling. And that's exactly what I'm going to get to tonight because what they're selling don't smell right to me. Spateman00 says, Jake, you are appreciated, man. I swear, from the Academy Awards, Grammys, and major sporting events, there is definitely symbolism everywhere. Love your work, man. Dude, it's basically like they're slapping those of us in the face who are awake to their deception. Like, basically, the more awake you are to their game, the more they're gaslighting you and slapping you in the face. So the more you realize, this is a fake scripted world around you, the more they have the actors basically like gaslight you. You know what I mean? Like they may as well, like while they're telling the story, and then I was running and there were bullets whizzing by my head and fuck you, Jake the asshole. And then I got shot and it felt like I got stabbed. Jake the asshole, fuck you. It's almost like they're doing that to me. You know what I mean? So it's like they purposely try and gaslight you as much as possible. All right, I've said enough. Let's go ahead and dive into my first video clip because I'm sure there's a lot of people here who are very skeptical and I haven't shown any proof of anything yet for my stance or any stance. So let's go ahead and dive into this first video here.
Just getting those texts and stuff and trying to reply back to makes it a little bit more real, makes it a little bit more real, makes it a little bit more real. Just getting those texts and stuff and trying to reply back to everyone makes it a little bit more real, makes it a little bit more real, makes it a little bit more real.
Immediately, my dad called me after. The service wasn't great, so he called her because she's part of our family. So to know that within 2 minutes, something like that came out to the news where people were calling and texting and making sure that we were okay was definitely something that made it more real, But we're waiting to go to the parking garage to know that something like that's still going on later. It definitely makes it more real and a more surreal experience.
But being able to hear it just made it even more real for us.
Dia and Cameron, I want to send it back to you guys and make sure these girls get home safe.
All right, Leslie Dallas report.
Initially in my head, I was like, oh, fireworks. But then it clicked. Yeah, I was in the military. So then immediately it clicked. I was like, oh, no, that's gunshots. And I was like, oh, gunshots. And it was just a surreal event.
And a more surreal experience.
And Austin, what was your reaction? You said you'd been in the military. Had you, what kicked in your mind? Had you ever thought something like this might happen, that you would be around gunfire?
So, we go through active shooter training every year. We go through active shooter training every year. We go through active shooter training every year. We go through active shooter training every year.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manny Abarca, and I'm running to be a part of your Missouri Democratic Party's executive board. And I hope you will support me, Manny Abarca, to be the next secretary of the Missouri Democratic Party, so that together we can make the change we want to see.
Manny Abarca, he was at the parade with his daughter when that shooting broke out. Manny, thank you so much for joining us. Glad to see you're safe. I know this has been a tough day for you. First off, how are you and your daughter doing? What's going through your head right now?
Mixed emotions. My daughter is extremely resilient. She reverted back to training, thankfully, from the Kansas City Public Schools. She knew what to do. She was more comforting than I was helpful. So I'm thankful for that bravery. It's just unfortunate that we're seeing this in Kansas City, but not unpredictable.
Okay, so just putting things into perspective, the first thing you said is your daughter reverted to training. A lot of people at home might be like, oh, she's an EMS student or something. Your daughter is 5 years old. And the training
Correct.
You're talking about is the training that she gets at her public school. Is that right?
Correct.
And she was the one comforting you?
She was the one that was extremely calm. She had no problem being quiet. She even, in fact, said, I'm glad we're in the restroom.
A 5-year-old comforted her daddy. Okay, cool story. A 5-year-old was all calm and comforting to the dad who wasn't calm and needed comfort. Okay. Jake, you're wrong. I had a friend that was there. It was scary. You see why I don't deal with those people? Jake, man, you're wrong. This one was real. Oh, yeah? Well, how come we're looking at the same actors as usual? The same actors as usual. It's the same fucking actors doing the same fucking shit, man. Wow, just like the last one and 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 the last one. Every fucking time, there they are, telling their stories. Oh, but this one, Jake, you're wrong. This one was real. My friend was there, and he had to duck behind a trash can, and a bullet went right by his head. Oh, yeah? According to Manny's story, a 5-year-old had to comfort him. He was there too. Again, this is a comedy performance. If you don't like my comedy, get lost.
She knew what to do, and that is a sad state of society that we're living in. If our kindergartners are teaching grown adults what to do in an active situation like this, and it's because of the access and ease to guns that this situation happened. Whether it was a long gun, a short gun, a small one, a fat one, it doesn't matter. In this state, we are the worst when it comes to gun policy, and it's because of the access and ease to guns that this situation happened. Whether it was a long gun, a short gun, a small one, a fat one, it doesn't matter. In this state, we are the worst when it comes to gun policy.
And I hope you will support me, Manny Abarca, to be the next Secretary of the Missouri Democratic Party, so that together we can make the change we want to see.
Hey, that was an incredible collage of clips from The News is Fake. So I do want to give him a shout out. The News is Fake 4. Definitely, I'm sure he's going to have another video coming soon. And so he takes the clips and then he replays, the parts where they have Freudian slips, and he highlights the best clips. So I found some other videos that are just as bad, but they're mainstream news clips that haven't been edited already. So we're going to look at some more actor testimony, but it won't be as well edited as the last video. So again, shout out to, and you guys should definitely sub to this channel if you want to see more videos like that. He's basically highlighted these videos from every one of these type of bang bang events, and it's always the same. Smiles, people saying, I ran for my life. It was so crazy. It sounded like fireworks. That's a very popular line. So if you watch enough of these over the years, one of the popular lines is, I heard what sounded like pa pa pa, and I thought it was fireworks. Sounded like fireworks. Sounded like firecrackers. So anyway, so if you watch enough of these over and over and over again, then you basically get the template that they just keep reusing. And it's the same old script, which is why I titled this stream The Same Old Script, because they're basically rerunning the same template. So now let's check out
Based on Nobel
another
Prize
video.
winning research, Harvard scientists just made.
And we'll break this one down. Oh, and Rose, if I miss any super chats tonight, can you text me and tell me the super chat and who it is? Because I miss a super chat. It seems like every stream it happens by accident, and sometimes it's like somebody who's like a longtime sub, and I feel bad when it happens. So if I miss any super chats tonight, and it's like 10, 20 minutes, and I haven't addressed it or pulled it up, please let me know. So I see this one coming in from Tom right now. Oh, yeah. And automatically when you see the person on the screen, we'll get into that in a second. So Tom says, do you believe the number 13 gematria stuff? Well, there was a ton of threes encoded into the game and the Super Bowl, and a ton of 13s as well. So I can get into some of that as well. But I want to go over these videos first, and then we'll tie it back to the Super Bowl and how they can script the Super Bowl to have all these 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 3 days later, Super Bowl parade, bang, bang event. You see? So they definitely, the elites who script this world, love to encode their numbers into shit, for sure. That's a fact.
From the same Leavenworth family. They're out of the hospital tonight. They have physical scars that may be tough to look at, and emotional scars too. They shared what they heard, saw, and felt.
Okay, first off, this isn't the first time I've ever done this, but like, look at that creature on the screen, right? Like, what is it that we're even looking at here? Holy cow, look at this. Does that not look like some sort of evil being to you? Look. Doesn't even look like a human to me. Looks like some sort of evil being is going to present this information.
3 of the shooting victims are all from the same Leavenworth family. They're out of the hospital tonight.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the first thing we get?
3 of the shooting victims are all from the same Leavenworth family. They're out of the hospital.
3 people in the same family. Wow. What are the odds of that? Wrong place, wrong time, right? Just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. It could happen to anyone. Anyone could unfortunately have this happen to them and have your whole family end up in this situation. Let's listen.
Hospital tonight. They have physical scars that may be tough to look at, and emotional scars too. They shared what they heard, saw, and felt with Fox 4's Jay DeMarco.
And they told me the same thing. I'm sure a lot of those 22 shooting victims who are recovering tonight are thinking. You never think it's going to be you until it is.
Jacob Gooch Sr., his wife Emily Tavis, and their 3 kids had just enjoyed a second straight Chiefs Super Bowl victory rally at Union Station.
It was a blast, just like usual up until the end.
As they were preparing to leave, they noticed the commotion.
There's a lady breaking up an altercation saying something like, "Not now, this isn't the place," or "This isn't the time."
And I seen him draw a gun, and he started shooting.
And then pop, 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 gunshots. I'm yelling, "I'm hit, get out, get away."
Bullets went into Gooch's foot.
So it went in over here, and then there's a hole here and a hole at the bottom.
And to Tavis's leg, though as she laid on the ground to shield her 7-year-old son.
Are we looking at a wound, or are we looking at someone's foot? Can you see the hole in his foot, or do you just see the foot? Right, I'm just saying. Maybe I don't buy what the news is selling, because all I see is a foot and I don't see a wound. Sorry, news. Maybe you should have had a wound to show me. But nobody wants to see a wound, right? So we're just supposed to take his word for it and look at his foot? I don't know. And his name is Gooch. Jacob Gooch. Too bad his name wasn't Jacob Taint, right? His name was Jacob Sweaty Taint the Third. Look at his foot. He definitely was there. Him and his whole family all banged in the same event. How tragic and traumatizing.
At the bottom.
And to Tavis's leg. Though as she laid on the ground to shield her 7-year-old son from the gunfire, she didn't realize it.
And I said, no, I'm fine. And she said, are you sure? Because you have blood on your pants. And I was like, oh, shoot, maybe I'm not fine.
Gooch.
This is another thing you'll hear over and over if you've seen these. Oh, I didn't even know that I got hit. I totally was so scared and running and in fear that I didn't even know. And then someone was like, you got hit. And I was like, I did? She's not the only one with that story at this event. Multiple people have the same story. I didn't even know I was hit. Someone had to tell me. No, look, there's a hole in your body. Look, see? Oh, there is. Wow. Yeah, and see, it's not just this event. That's been a story that has been told many times to where now people are used to hearing it. So now everyone who's asleep, a sheeple, they expect when they do get shot that they're not going to know. Yeah, because when you get shot, you just like you're in shock and you just don't know. Okay. Oh, some funny stuff, huh? Anthony Clay with a super chat. No words attached, just a super chat. Thank you very much.
Tried to run, but fell to the ground and began to try to crawl to safety.
Are they done shooting? Are they going to keep shooting? Are we safe where we're at? Do we need to move?
As
Safe where we're at? Do we need to move? Are we safe where we're at? Do we need to move?
As police and other fans chased and tackled potential shooters, other people at the rally would carry the Leavenworth parents to a medical tent. Each was still concerned where their other children were in the chaos. They were reunited before being loaded into an ambulance.
We watched that the whole time we were at the hospital. It started off, 8 people hurt. Then it said 1 person dead, 14 hurt. 1 person dead, 18 hurt. 1 person dead, 20. 1 person, 22. It just kept. It's just ridiculous.
Well, Mr. Gooch, I don't buy your story. And you know what? I'm allowed to not buy Mr. Gooch's story. I don't think I'm in violation of any terms by saying I don't fucking believe him. I'm going to challenge this issue. I don't have to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to call him any names. I'm going to say, I think that guy's full of shit. That's what I'll say. Seems I'm still here. Seems I've gotten away with it. Just like I have before. You see, you can show people the truth and tell people the truth if you do it right. Cops brought their AR-15s. Yeah, dude, it's the same damn script. I don't even like to look into the details of these things. I go right to the actors. I literally skip the details. Like, there's 2 people in custody, and it was a altercation, between different people. I don't look into what they're saying. I go right to the actors. Show me the actors and what they say. The ones who claim to be eyewitnesses. Let's hear the eyewitnesses. And once I see the eyewitnesses smiling, telling ridiculous stories, I throw the whole damn thing out the window and move on to the next one. What's the point of looking into it any deeper? Once you get to the actors telling their ridiculous stories, that pretty much tells me what I need to know. And thank you, Rocky, for the donation, buddy. I appreciate that. Tom says, if you get hit by a pew pew bang bang, and you're gonna know it. Yeah, exactly. This is a retold story. So they have these actors who don't have wounds tell you that they were shot, and then they redo this over and over. So I've seen this so many times that I'm used to it. It's the same shit. All right, you guys ready to take it up a notch further? They got kids claiming to have been hit. Kids. Now, I'm not going to get down on any kids, but I am going to get down on the parents who allow their kids to go on camera and do this. Despicable human beings. The parents. Guys, if your kid was to get shot, would you have them go on TV? Like, would you put your kid on television and make them tell the story? So when I think of this stuff from any realistic, logic standpoint, it falls apart. Like, no parent is going to put their kid on TV like this if the day before he was in a bang bang pow 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 situation and got hit. They're not going to stick him on TV like this. And look at the way she looks at him. This look right here. There's a very evil thing going on. It's like a coaching situation. They coach a kid into telling a story, and it's not the kid's fault. It's this damn person sitting next to the kid. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So there's always someone sitting next to the kid who's already coached the kid through the script. And so the kids practiced it a few times already, and they videotape all of the takes, and then they cut it up and give you the final take. But basically, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about the kid, but I damn sure am gonna say something bad about this thing right here. And you'll see why.
Cause the trauma. I got no sleep last night. Cause the trauma.
Oh, that breaks my heart. I have a 10-year-old at home. That little boy you heard from, also 10 years old. His name is Samuel. He's one of the children who was shot here yesterday. He sat down to share his story with Grant Stevens and also David Medina, who helped to translate for the family.
That's 10-year-old Samuel Ariano. He's smiling for the Chiefs, excited for yesterday's parade, and I wish I could tell you that's how he's going to remember that day, but he says that's not. He was one of the 9 kids shot in yesterday's shooting.
I got no sleep last night. Cause the trauma.
The wound is still fresh on Samuel Ariano's body and his mind.
It could have been inches from my whole future.
He used what he learned in school, take cover, but he was hit before he made it behind a trash can.
And then we see people fighting, and then they pull out a gun and start shooting 3 times, and I
3 times. There's your number. What are the odds, you guys? Super Bowl 333, 333, 333 shoved up your ass. And then 3 days later, this happens and this kid says 3 shots. Come on, guys. Come on. Look at what they're doing. How can anybody dare try and say, oh, no. This was the real one, right? So if you're new to the news being scripted, yeah. Jewy GG1 says, so glad you got a huge audience proving the Rigoroni. Perfect timing for the newbies to learn there's tons more fakery everywhere. Hey, they scripted a perfect script for me to transition my old audience and my new audience all together as one. There's always an awkward period when the Super Bowl ends where I have to start telling people about other things in the world that are fake and corrupt and wrong besides sports and sports gambling. And that's when a lot of people are like, whoa, dude, I didn't know that you talk about this sort of stuff. I can only handle football. So, yeah. Now you can tie the NFL and the fake psyops all together as one. So basically they made it to where I can seamlessly transition both my content together as one. So tonight we're going to tie this back to the fake phony Super Bowl, the number 3 in your face over and over again. I mean, it blows my mind how, like, you know, I'm like one of the most awake people. I mean, that's like an overused term, but basically I'm the most aware, one of the most aware people of what's going on who can explain it. And I just so happen to have built a big audience on fake phony football. And I already had an audience previously built breaking down these events. So now they tied both of those 2 things together for me. It's like shooting fish in a barrel that was scripted specifically for me to shoot these specific fish in a barrel. If that makes sense. I'm kind of shocked. But not too shocked because basically they get people to stop talking about the Super Bowl being scripted by doing this. Now no one's talking about the Super Bowl being scripted. No one thinks Patrick Mahomes being a fake phony is worth talking about because, you know, he donated to this event. Right? Taylor Swift donated to this event. All the Chiefs donated to this event. So therefore, they're such great guys, right? They're not fake phony sellouts who played a fucking fake phony pretend football game, right? No, they're great people and heroes for donating to this event. You see how that works? Can't talk shit about it being scripted now. Can't talk shit about that fake phony Super Bowl because they're such great fucking people because they donated to this event. Understand why I'm a bit pissed off? This is real anger. This is real emotion. I'm a real guy who gets fed up with having to talk about this and tell people what's going on. And yet, like, I feel compelled to do it. I can't stop doing it. So it bothers the shit out of me. And at the same time, I'm like compelled to never shut up about it. And so if it seems like I'm irritated and agitated, it's because I am. Tom says this is all a ploy to deflect from the fake NFL. No, Tom, it's bigger than that. It's not just to deflect from the fake NFL. That's part of it. It's a part of the puzzle, but it's also to erode away wanting to own a firearm. So if they can erode away over 100 years people's perception of wanting to own a firearm, and then get people to vote away their own rights to own a firearm, they don't ever have to come take any firearms. Understand? So a popular term you'll hear is, oh, this is a gun grab. No, they won't do any grabbing. They'll just do this for 100 years and convince everybody that they're bad and that you should just vote away your own ownership rights. And guess what? It's gonna work. And the people who love guns, you're gonna die. And then your kids are gonna be, or not, even if they don't have any kids, the next generation is gonna be born into believing all this shit that they've been watching on TV. So they never have to come get the guns. You see, they just do this for 100 years or more until everyone thinks that they're evil and terrible and that we should live in a world without guns. Because they can convince you that this has been going on for 100 years. See? So if they can run this same story for 100 years, then basically they'll just have nothing but people believing guns are bad. We need to get rid of them. They don't need to come take them. I also want to point out, look at the look on that lady's face. Does that look like a loving mother? Look at what's on screen right now, and look at that, the eyes on that thing looking at that child. I don't even know if that's the child's real mother or coach or what, handler. Look at the look on that mother's face. Does that look like a loving, caring mother to you? Right? And these are your guys' words, not me. I'm not influencing you to say anything. I'm asking you, what do you think that looks like when you look on the screen? Does that look like a lady who was involved in a traumatic event and stuck her kid on television to tell us the story? And she's looking at him with all the love and care in the world. Is that what we're looking at? You tell me. And there's people with the audacity to say, Jake, you're wrong about this one. Oh, I am? Then who are these people? And why are they saying the things they're saying? Why do they look like how they look? All right, let's continue.
Doug, like, and then one of them hit me, felt like getting stabbed. One of them hit me, felt like getting stabbed.
That clip was extremely edited. One hit me, felt like getting stabbed. Like, did you see the way it glitched right there? Like, that was super edited. Has the kid been stabbed before? No? How would he know what being stabbed? You would have to know what being stabbed felt like, right? To be able to compare it to being stabbed, right? I've never been stabbed. I've never been shot. So I wouldn't say if I did get shot or stabbed, I wouldn't compare it to the other one. You would have to have both happen to you to make a comparison. Now, I know he's just a kid, but he's been fed things to say. So I ain't going to get mad at the kid. I'm going to say whoever coached him up didn't come up with a very good story. In my opinion, whoever coached this kid up didn't do a very good job. And I'm not buying it. And I'm allowed to not buy it.
He says he was trampled in the chaos and that there was such a rush to get out and get home. His family didn't realize he'd actually been shot, not just hit or stepped on. I'll translate for his mom, Abigail, who said when they got to the house, that's when they found the bullet wounds in his rib.
My mom was crying. My dad rushed to call 911.
They literally just told two conflicting stories within seconds. So he got hit, but didn't know, or he got hit and it felt like being stabbed. Which is it? So if you get hit and it feels like being stabbed, then you know automatically, right? And you can go right to where you think you got hit, which felt like being stabbed. But then it turned into no, they didn't know until they got home. So he felt like he got stabbed when he got home. See how they tell two different stories and stick two stories that don't make sense together within seconds. Can't slip that shit past me. Not gonna happen.
Sister came and told me it was gonna be okay and started crying.
And were
Right now, the kid's trying his hardest not to bust up laughing. Like that kid tried his best to hold, like that he's biting his lip because he doesn't want to smile. He wants to smile so badly because he knows what he's saying is bullshit. He knows he's been coached to say some stupid shit. So he's trying so hard to not smile. I wonder if he's going to be able to make it through this interview without smiling. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. JL says, where the F was he shot or wounded? Yeah, we're going to get to that, buddy. We're going to get to that. Yeah, see, you ask the questions that I ask. You know, logical questions. So this kid is trying really hard right here to fight Duper's delight smiling. You'll see, like, he does this thing where he like really tries to act sad, but he can't quite pull it off. And then he starts to like crack. So pay very close attention.
I rushed to call 911. My sister came and told me it was gonna be okay and started crying.
And were you worried at any point about?
Yeah, I was worried. In the ambulance, I was worried that like
I gotcha. Now again, I ain't gonna talk shit on a kid. It's not his fault. I'm not gonna blame a kid that he doesn't have the acting chops to pull this off. But the evil piece of shit sitting next to him, oh well, it wouldn't bother me if that person burned in hell. If the person sitting next to the kid burned in hell for eternity, that would make me feel really good. So again, not my first rodeo. I've done this so many times. I've perfected the moment where they smile to where I can get it just perfect and show everybody and explain it perfectly. No human being dares do what I do the way I do it. There's not a single soul on YouTube who dares do what I'm doing right now. Somehow, some way, I'm the only one with balls enough to do this. And I'm getting away with it so far because it's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my opinion, that this is bullshit. And this is a comedy routine. I'm just trying to be funny. It's all just a big joke, right? So therefore, since this is a comedy routine, and I'm just trying to be funny, and it's all a big joke, nobody should be offended or take any of it seriously, right? Even though I basically told you 100% of the truth the whole time. I mean, that kid's laughing and smiling. So obvious, and he's the one who is traumatized, who can't sleep. Angelo Zapp with a donation. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. So, yeah. Guys, they use kids, these sick assholes. It's not the kid's fault. If you were a kid and your parents forced you into this shit, it wouldn't be your fault. If I was 10 years old and I had an evil mom who did this to me, it wouldn't be my fault, right? So you got to look at the parent in this situation, if that is the parent, and place all the blame in that direction. And again, look at the look on the face. I'll bet you she's thinking right now, stop smiling. Quit smiling. You're not supposed to smile. I'll bet you that's what she's thinking.
That could have ruined my whole future.
The bullet millimeters away from his lungs.
They told me that it didn't go that deep, so that's when I was like, yes.
Abigail thanks God for allowing her son a second chance at life, but he'll live it.
That could have ruined my whole future.
The bullet millimeters away from his lungs.
They told me that it didn't go that deep, so that's when I was like, yes.
They had to tell him how deep it went because nobody knew how deep it went. So they had to tell him. It almost went to your lungs, almost, but not quite. And he was like, yes. Okay.
Abigail thanks God for allowing her son a second chance at life, but he'll live it with a painful memory.
I'm just going to get flashbacks.
His mom says something that should have been happiness, celebrating our city, turned into violence.
Children.
Celebrating our city. He'll live it with a painful memory.
I'm just going to get flashbacks.
I'm just going to give flashbacks. And in the news, the way they make it out like it's so terrible. He'll never be able to forget this day ever again. And I'm just going to have flashbacks. Sick assholes. And if I tell people that event was fake, they'll say I am a sick asshole. What a terrible world we live in. What a piece of shit hellhole this is, right? I personally, some days I look around and I'm like, wow, what is this place? What an evil hellhole this is. And the majority of everybody believes everything they see on TV and don't question it at all. And I have to walk around and exist with these people for the rest of my life in this hellhole? Me being the smartest one who can fucking explain it? Great. So awesome that this is what I get to do, is tell everybody how fucked up and evil everything is. For the rest of my life, this is going to be so enjoyable for me to experience. Couldn't I have just been a YouTuber who just plays bass? Right? Maybe I should have just did that. I should have just been a YouTuber who just plays bass, and I should have never fucking ever paid attention to anything, and I'd have totally been happy. But no, I had to go paying attention to shit and going down rabbit holes, and now I'm the smartest damn conspiracy realist guy on the internet who has to explain this until I die, and I'm supposed to be happy with this? It sucks, dude. It's a curse. I'm actually starting to curse whoever did this to me. I'm starting to look up in the sky and say, fuck you, whoever did this to me. Tom with a donation of 500 bazillion millimeters. I don't know what that pertains to. I don't get it, Tom. David Yount says over 800 in the chat. Hit the like button. Yes, indeed. Hit the like button. Oh, here's a great question, and nobody likes the answer. We can't do anything about it. I'm one guy. I could organize a few hundred people to meet up, but we can't do anything. What am I going to do? Organize 10 million? Nope. So what can I do? Nothing. What can you do? Nothing. All I can do is talk about it. That's literally all I can do. And I feel the need to have to do it, so I do it. And it just happens. So anyone who's ever been like, oh, Jake only does this for money. It's like, dude, I can go do whatever I want for money. I'm a very talented individual. There's so many ways to make money, but somehow I'm doing this. It's because it's like my body instinctively just does it. I woke up today like, I have to explain that Kansas City shit today to a bunch of people. Well, this ought to be fun. The same shit that I've done 1,000 times before, get to do it again. The work never ends. So yeah, anybody who's like, well, if you don't have a plan to fix it, well, then just stop talking about it. No, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to talk about all this stuff, and I can't fix it, but I'm not going to stop talking about it just because I can't fix it. And then the people who get mad that I don't have a plan to fix it, well, you come up with the fucking plan to fix it and go fix it. All I can do is point it out. I'm just a dude who's smart enough to see through the bullshit and explain it. And I'm the only dude who has the balls to do it. All those other channels, you know, that don't, yeah. Oh, millimeters from his lung. Okay, thanks, Tom. That does make sense. Yeah. So I've been doing this stuff for so many years that it's basically just like the same routine over and over and over again. And last season, I broke down the Michigan State pow pow drill right after the Super Bowl. Let me show you guys something, and this'll and then I'll show you another interview from the same kid. So this kid has done a string of interviews, and this isn't the only one. So we'll watch another interview from the same kid in just a minute, but I want to show you guys something about my channel and how last year this exact thing basically already happened, just minus the Super Bowl parade. But the same exact thing happened last year, scripted right after the Super Bowl. So let's go back in time and scroll back through the fake football season. We're almost back to week 1 already. And now we're back to last off season when I started covering other topics, my van trip. And here we go. We're to last year's Super Bowl. 1 year ago, or excuse me, almost 2 years ago now. So here's your Kansas City versus the Eagles Super Bowl, right? Well, not 2 years ago, just 1 year ago. Kansas City versus the Eagles. And then the next video that I did, the very next thing I covered, Michigan State drill exposed. See? So the day after the Super Bowl, they had a bang, bang, pow, pow situation, Michigan State. I covered your Phony Super Bowl. The very next video I covered was the drill. And then the Palestine, Ohio train derailment. So you see, the last season, I made this exact same transition. What are the odds that we repeat the same thing again? Pretty good odds, right? Because they always script one of these events right when your football ends. Oh, your football's over. We got to give them something to be afraid of. So this year, what they did was they basically like took the football and the fake pow pow situation and combined it together and did it at the parade. See what I'm saying? Hey, football's over. Oh, as you're celebrating at the parade, now you have something to be afraid of. Bang, bang, pow, pow, pow. Celebration's over. Football's over. Be afraid. Be very afraid. So think about that. I've already done this in this order. Break down the Super Bowl, fake pow pow drill, and then I break that down. So I transition from fake sports right into fake pow pow bang bang seamlessly. And this year they scripted it right on cue and tied them together for me in a nice little bow. See? Jake, get out your tin foil hat. Right? All right. So I got another video with the same kid, and the kid tells a slightly different story in the next video. Imagine that. Kid can't keep his story straight. I guess the mom didn't do such a great job coaching him up. All right.
Pediatric gunshot patients at Children's Mercy. One of them talked with Fox 4. He's 10 years old, now out of the hospital after a bullet grazed him.
His family says in the confusion, they didn't realize he was wounded until they got to their Kansas City, Kansas home. Fox 4's Jacob Kittlestat live near where the boy was hit as he huddled around a trash can just west of Union Station. Jake, how's he doing tonight?
Well, physically, John, he's going to be okay. Mentally, though, this is all still very fresh and challenging. You really can't emphasize enough here that this is just a 10-year-old boy who came out here wanting to see his favorite football players. From the parade
and ruin the Niners affair
to victory rally, a huge moment for some of the Chiefs' youngest fans.
I love Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, LeJerry Sneed, and Rashee Rice. Big Chiefs fan. When I woke up, I was excited to go to the parade.
Samuel Ariano, with classes dismissed from Junction Elementary School, came from Kansas City, Kansas, and posted up to the left of the stage with his grandpa, uncle, and cousin.
I just remember like hearing the gunshots. I thought it was like firecrackers.
When we got down, we saw people like running everywhere, people crying.
And then I hid behind the trash can, but like I tried to cover my I tried to cover the sun because you know how it was sunny. Yeah, I tried to cover the sun, but when I covered it, they shot me.
Samuel starts saying, complaining, like, "Oh, I got shot! I got shot!" I don't know. It was so fast, everything.
He was covering the sun because you know it was sunny. See, there's always a line or two that doesn't fit, that doesn't make any sense. I was behind the trash can hiding and covering the because it's sunny. You're running away from bullets whizzing by, and you're running away, right? And you hide behind a trash can, and then you're like, "Oh, I don't want the sun to be in my eyes. I gotta block the sun out of my eye." You see what I'm? The story falls apart, and there's always a line or two that doesn't add up at all.
Trash can, but like I try to cover my I try to cover the sun because you know how it was sunny. Yeah.
He tried to cover the sun because you know how it was sunny. Okay, kid.
I tried to cover the sun, but when I covered it, they shot me.
Samuel starts saying, complaining like, "Oh, I got shot, I got shot." I don't know. It was so fast, everything.
I told him, but they said that they stepped on me too. But yeah, they did step on me because the footprint on my Chiefs jersey, there's a footprint.
So not only did he get hit, he also got stepped on. Poor kid. Very emotional. He just wanted to see his favorite football players. And then he gets hit and trampled and stepped on at the same time. Oh, poor kid. Show us the wounds. There's got to be some wounds, right? Show everybody how hurt you are.
A big foot. Like when we got home, they said to check him because he said he got hit. And when they
Okay, guys, pop quiz. Are we looking at a wound or are we looking at a bandage? Do you see a wound or do you see a bandage? I could argue that I can put a Band-Aid on my arm and say that I got an owie. But then I can remove the Band-Aid and be like, I'm just kidding. I didn't get an owie, right? So how do we know that the kid has a real owie? We don't. Just saying. Doesn't quite look like it's millimeters from his lungs, right? If it's a graze wound, then it's not millimeters from your lungs, right? If it's a graze wound, show us. We're adults. We can handle seeing a graze wound. Nope. Too graphic. Can't show you that.
they checked him, they saw like a grace bullet right here.
I felt like I got stabbed.
Right away when he got down the car, she took off the shirt and he said, "Oh, Dad, he got shot." She got scared and they called the ambulance right away.
Samuel says the graze is healing.
So that's millimeters from his lungs. You guys, look at that wound. Millimeters from his lungs. What parent would do this to their kid in a real situation? Would you do this to your kid? Make your kid lift up his shirt and show his fat stomach on TV? Actually, I shouldn't say that about the kid, but you get what I'm saying. Come on. To me, that would just be like, no parent would really do this to their kid, man, if it was real.
But the moment stays with him.
I've been having like nightmares. Last night, I've been having nightmares, flashbacks about what happened. And then I would close my eyes and then like 2 minutes later, I would like wake up and start crying. Wake up and start crying.
Okay, here's another thing they do. If you see a shoe by itself, one shoe, that's the indicator that it was another one of their PSYOP events. So if you go back and look at a ton of these events, you'll find the one shoe by itself. They always throw that. Not always, but that is in, I don't know, 20 or 30 other psyops that I've seen. That's probably like the 20 or 30th time, somewhere in there, that I've seen the one shoe deal. Tom says the world, there would be a huge bruise outside the band. Yeah, you guys, you see how the whole damn thing falls apart when you listen to the supposed witnesses, the supposed ones who were actually hit. And this is it. Jacob Gooch, we see his foot, and then we see that kid. Guys, that's all I need to throw the whole thing out the window. And if anyone comes at me like, well, Jake, just because they have those actors doesn't mean that someone didn't actually die. Oh, who died? You know who died, guys? You guys want to know who died? Lisa Lopez. You know, like Lisa Left Eye Lopez. What are the chances the one lady who dies is also a famous celebrity who also died? I would say a famous death faker. I'll bet you this person has been repackaged and reused somewhere else. So anyone wanting to bring up the lady, well, like I said, if Tupac can fake his death and everyone who he's friends with still pretends he's dead, well, then anyone can fake their death. Just not me or you. I should make that claim again. Anyone in Hollywood or on TV or used in one of these events, yeah, they can have a fake death. So yeah, the lady who supposedly died, Lisa Lopez. This Lisa Lopez? No, just the same name. Jake, you really are a genuine dude. I love this channel and your content for a few years now. Next time you come to Tahoe, please let me know so I can buy you a beer and smoke a fatty. I go to Tahoe usually in the summertime when it's super hot here in the valley. I like to go up there. And I do a little bit of advantage slot play up there. They only have 4 little tiny casinos, so it's not a great advantage slot scene, but I have made money up there a few times, so it's really pretty up there. So, yeah, you should definitely, if you want to get in touch with me easier, I have a Facebook page that I only use to promote the channel. My name is Jake Gibson, and I plan on actually rebranding the channel soon. I'm going to be getting rid of the asshole name and just probably going with Jake Gibson or something soon. So anyway, but yeah, I'm on Facebook if you want to shoot me a message, because otherwise I'll just forget who you are. And thank you for the donation, Slim Faley. I appreciate that. Tom says still waiting on David Oink Oink appearance. Yeah, see, you got to watch it with that guy. That if you do a video going after that guy, it comes down. So I have to call him David Oink Oink. But yeah, David Oink Oink was used to call out the. Never mind. Just not even going to say it. Actually, I will say it. So he's been used as the shooter and the guy who calls out the shooters. Another thing I wanted to point out, there was like a bunch of like blurry spots in the crowd. Let me see if I can find that shot of the crowd dispersing. There it is. Yeah, this. See, so it's very glitchy looking, and like there's all these splotches of blurriness everywhere. And so when you listen to the playback, it sounds like it's just coming out of speakers. So the pop, 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 bang, bang, bang sounds like it's coming out of speakers to me. See? So they do a sound effect, bang, ba, bang, bang, pow, 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 pow. And then you see that this crowd looks like it's dispersing. But look at the detail. Notice there is no detail, and it's like a bunch of blurry crap. So they purposely release these like low quality, extra blurry photos so that you can't like pinpoint any real detail. You can't see anyone getting hit. There's never anyone getting hit. So there's never a video of anyone who you can see clearly getting hit and going down. It's always just like a 2-second shot like this where that you see the crowd dispersing, but you don't ever see anyone get hit. And before this stream, there was a few people who showed up and said, Jake, man, I totally agree with you about the football stuff. But don't say that the KC thing was fake, because I had friends that were there and they were dodging bullets the whole time. What now? After what I just showed you, do you really want to come back at me and say, Jake, you're wrong about this one? So yeah, there was a few people telling me not to cover this because I'm wrong. What's up now? I just covered it. Yeah, didn't even sound like actual bang, bang, pow, pow, exactly. And the actors will commonly say it sounded like fireworks. Even the kid said the second time it sounded like firecrackers. And then anybody telling the story that, oh no, these events are real and they're planned out. No, they're not. So there's people who will say the government planned this, but the lady really did die and the shots were real. Nope. That doesn't fly either. Nobody died. Nobody cried. That is always the theme. Here's the deal. When you hear about these events, go into it assuming it's bullshit and you're going to be right like basically every single time. And you won't even have to do much research. Just go into it knowing it's bullshit and take the stance where they have to prove it to you. So it's the news job and the witnesses' job to prove to me their story. I didn't buy it. I personally think that that was bullshit, what they tried to sell me. And I'm allowed to have my own opinion, and that my opinion is that that's bullshit. Right? So, I wish more people would take the stance that I take. We don't have to say anything that gets us taken down. We can just say, I don't buy what they're selling. I think that story isn't real. We have the right to say that. I wish more people would come out and say it. I wish I wasn't just one of the only people who does this. People say, oh, well, you'll get censored. No. You can get away with doing this and telling people the truth. Slim Faley says it's almost like they're trying to rewrite history. They have never done that before. No, they write history. It's his story. So they're creating a story and calling it history. And they've been doing that for a long time. So things that you think are history are a story that was created for you to believe. When if you go back far enough, we really don't know what the hell happened. When you start looking into how buildings were built way back, when supposedly people were riding in horses and buggies and shit, but somehow these huge structures were built, extravagant structures. We start looking into real history. Yeah, they covered some shit up, and they've been giving us a fake history for a long time. So history as we know it, it's pretty much bullshit. Thanks again, Slim Faley, for the donation. And then you also said Jake equals MTTHAO, most true to himself and others. It's like the only thing that I know, the only thing that keeps me being me and feeling like I'm doing something to help other people and help me make sense of it. It's like, this is what I feel like I need to do and have to do. Daniel Fernandez says the next thing they will say is aliens did the shoot. That's coming in the future. So alien attack has been presented to us in the movies over and over again, and that's conditioning for when they actually try and fake an alien attack and then get us to all unite under one world government. If they were going to get us to unite as one world government, one set of laws, one set of rules uniting us all, they would need an event to pull that off, and aliens attacking and us fighting back like in the movies would be the thing. And you know what? People are stupid enough that if they saw it on TV and they were told enough times that aliens are indeed attacking, they'll believe it. And all they'll need to see is some shit on a screen. That's all they'll need. And the government can then say, you need to lock down. We're under martial law, one world order, like, because aliens. And people will be like, oh my God, please save us, government. Please, Big Daddy government, save us from the evil aliens. Meanwhile, guys like me are going to be like, I told you they were going to do this. I told you 10 years ago that they were going to do this. I'm going to be screaming from the rooftop that the alien invasion is fake. And meanwhile, everyone's going to believe in an alien invasion. They've been setting the stage for a long time for that alien invasion story. Don't think they won't do it. They just need people a little more stupid. They're getting there. They're making people systematically more stupid every year. They just need a little bit more stupidity, and then they're going to pull that one. They need to make people just a little more tard-ish, and they'll go ahead and pull the fake alien invasion. Slim Faley says that's why your content and passion is necessary, not trying to be creepy, just a fan and finally financially able to show the support you deserve. Hey, it's not creepy at all, bro. Every time I do a live stream, people send me super chats and say all kind of, things, everything from compliments to asking me questions. So I'm used to it, man. And I don't think it's creepy at all, man. I appreciate it. And so anybody who shows up here and listens to me and takes place in the chat, takes place in this discussion, I appreciate you guys being here. Like if you guys weren't here for me to explain it to, well, then there wouldn't be a reason to explain it. Like if nobody wanted to listen, well, then I wouldn't be able to tell this information to anybody, So the fact that there's people who come here and want to hear what I have to say, I appreciate that. And I've said it time and time again that I have basically the best audience on YouTube or in the world. You guys are awesome. All right. Lint away air duct and dryer vent cleaning with a donation. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Another longtime sub and supporter of the channel. Yeah, he's got a funny name, Lint away air duct to dry, for a YouTube profile name. But he's been a great supporter of the channel, has donated many times, and I made him a mod recently because he sent a couple super chats that whizzed on by, and I missed the super chat. And when I watched the replay, I felt really bad. Whenever I watch the replay and I see that I missed someone's super chat, and they've been watching and supporting me, it makes me feel so bad. So I always have to go back and apologize, and then usually to make amends, I'll make that person a mod. So if you send me money and then I accidentally miss your super chat, chances are you will become a mod. Tom says during invasion, all platforms will be shut down. Yeah, at some point, we've heard the rumors they can shut down the internet and then re-upload the new version of the internet that's completely scrubbed free of all these conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. Completely scrubbed and censored internet. Yeah, I've heard that rumor. That's right up there with they're going to shut down the power grid. But we haven't seen that happen. We've never seen the power across like the United States go out for like days in a row. But we've heard that, they're going to shut down the power grid. So it's kind of like one of those things. Well, they haven't ever done it. So we'll have to wait and see if they ever actually pull that card. In a way, I feel like they can't shut down the power grid because they want us plugged in. They want us plugged into all their technological devices. So I don't think it's in their best interest to shut down the power grid, because then you can't watch the news. You can't be brainwashed by their propaganda. So I feel like it might screw up their brainwashing. It might cause people to maybe wake up if they were to unplug, you know what I mean? And have the power go out for too long. People might be like, oh, well, I like not watching the news. I like it like this. No, if the power did go out for days, it would be total chaos and anarchy. But I just don't feel like that's part of their plan. I feel like that would have been easy to do, and they would have done that at some point by now. Seems like they want us more into our devices. Like they want us, watching more TV, playing more video games, sucked more into Twitter and social media. They want us more in the virtual reality that they constructed for us. So that's why the whole power going out, taking the whole power grid down, doesn't quite fit all that virtual reality that they set up for us, Yeah, that's what I mean. They set up this gigantic propaganda machine. But I've heard countless rumors of, the power will go out for 2-3 days at a time and it's going to be anarchy. I'm sure many of you have heard that scenario where they could shut off the whole power to the whole country, and in 48 hours, it would just be chaos and lawlessness. But then again, that means they'd have to shut off all their programming. Exactly. If we're not plugged in, then they don't have power. So they got to keep us plugged in. Exactly. Lex G says Jake destroyed ODD. I've spanked several shills. ODD, in my opinion, I would guess he's probably locked up or something. He was working with authorities, and I think he violated his probation one too many times. And so I think they locked him up. I can't say for sure, but he was a compromised sex offender, and he was working with the government pretending to be a flat earther, basically. And yeah, the jig is up. That's why he ain't around no more. Yeah, I talked about that years ago when it happened. So yeah, that was a staged event as well. And so I went over that one and posted videos on various social media and stuff. Yeah, so back when that happened, yeah, there's so many things wrong with that. Something as simple as like trying to remove the glass from that hotel room, like the glass is like not something you can just shoot right through. Doesn't work like that. So something as simple as the glass being so thick and being the type of glass that if you shot a hole through it, it wouldn't shatter. And so the fact that like one guy was able to go up to his room with all those guns and take out the glass and hit all those people down below. And there's no video of anybody actually being hit again. So I went back and I broke all the fake videos down. There was a bunch of fake videos with the Vegas one where they had like mannequins on the ground with blood and stuff. But if you really look at it, it's clearly not humans. Like, so they go as far as to use mannequins laying on the ground, and fake blood and stuff like that. Whatever they need to do to convince people that it happened. The one thing they don't have is video of anyone being hit. So I'm not a Mandela effect guy because basically here's what happens. Dude, Bernstein Bears is now Bernstein Bears. Yeah, I remember it being Bernstein Bears. So if it's Bernstein now, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So there's no thing that changed in my life that like ruined my life. So if all they changed was some tiny little thing, Bernstein or whatever. Like it's the stupidest shit. Like some of it like doesn't even make sense and aren't Mandela effects. Luke, I'm your father. No, I'm your father. Well, no, I'm your father makes more sense in context of the movie. So when I watched the movie Star Wars, I remember Chris Farley more so during the movie Tommy Boy saying, Luke, I am your father, into a fan. Luke, I am your father. Because you can't say, no, I'm your father, into a fan and have anyone know what you're talking about. But in the actual movie, when Luke says, you killed him, and he goes, no, I am your father. It wouldn't make sense when he says, you killed him. Luke, I am your father. See? It's because you killed him. No, I am your father. See? So when Chris Farley is talking into a fan, he's not going to say, no, I'm your father. He's going to say, Luke, I'm your father. See? So anybody who ever referenced the movie would say, Luke, I'm your father. But the movie says, no, I'm your father. See? So I can explain why there's confusion with some of these Mandela effects. So anybody who's really caught up that the world changed and that this is like some big deal, how come it's always some little stupid, insignificant shit, though? You know, like Chick-fil-A had a K and then it didn't, or it does. Ooh, do you remember a Chick-fil-A K or don't you? Do you remember Sally Field or Sally Fields? Because Sally Fields is no longer Fields, it's Sally Field. Oh, well, now my whole life is fucked. I can't go on living because Sally Field is no longer Sally Fields. See, so it's always some stupid, insignificant shit that doesn't affect my life. So I don't fucking care. And if they change the world around me and they only change little tiny stupid shit like that and I can't do anything about it, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Go crazy and keep pointing at the same little stupid insignificant shit and being like, I swear it was Bernstein. It was Bernstein, you guys. It's not Bernstein, and I know for a fact. Who cares? I have other shit to talk about. See? So the Mandela effect people will like dwell over like the tiniest of like little things that don't really fucking mean anything. So that's why I don't like it. And I know there's people who their favorite conspiracy theory is Mandela and they hate that it's not my favorite. It's just not my favorite. Like what I broke down tonight is cut and dry. It was a fucking phony event and I busted them. Whereas Mandela effect, how do you like, who do you even bust? How do you bust that? You have to come to the conclusion that the world was reprogrammed or something, you know, magically changed. And if that's happening, well, what can you do about it? Jess says, what do you think about Coral Castle? I don't know, is that if that's a channel or what? I'm guessing that's like a YouTube channel. I don't know who it is. Never heard of it. Sorry, Jess. Thank you for the donation, but I don't know who that is or what that is. So yeah, Mandela effect is named after Nelson Mandela. People remembered that he died, and then other people were like, no, he didn't die. They remember he died in jail in like the 80s or whatever. And then, see, I'm not affected by the actual Mandela effect. So the one that's named after was Nelson Mandela. And I only remember Nelson Mandela dying the way they say, and not back in the 80s in jail. So I don't have the recollection of Nelson Mandela dying twice. So therefore, the thing that it's named after doesn't affect me. See? So you have to come up with all these other ones. And the thing I don't like about Mandela the most is that if one of these things doesn't affect you or you don't notice it, then people just keep bringing up other ones until you're like, oh yeah, it was Sally Fields and not Sally Field. That is weird. The world magically changed. See what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to like some of them that I think are weird, where I'm like, well, I do remember Sally Fields with an S, and I do remember Bernstein Bears. I think that's what I remember. But am I 100% sure? Well, I was a little kid when I was in school with those Bernstein books, so I never personally like stared at the title and burned it into my brain enough. So I don't know, maybe it was Stain the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So I can talk myself out of the Bernstein thing because I was a little kid. And then I stopped looking at those books after I was like 5 years old or 6 or whatever. Like after like first grade, I never looked at another Bernstein book ever again, I don't think. So it's hard to remember all the way back to something like that and be like, I vividly know for sure. You know? So that's why I'm not a big time Mandela guy, for reasons that I just explained. Gerard wants more clips. Okay, we can watch another clip. We'll watch one more on this event, and then I'll show you guys how it's very similar to the story from other events. Oh, this is the one I want to show you guys. I'm so glad that you reminded me to show clips because I almost forgot to show the most important clip. This is actually the most important clip of the whole damn stream. Thank you for reminding me.
Great. If you could read it.
This is the one, y'all. You guys are going to love this. Totally just reminded me. I watched this one just before we started the stream, and I caught a very key piece of information. All right. Listen up, guys. Get your listening ears ready. Your listening ears, as opposed to your listening nose. Your listening ears. Get your listening eyeballs ready to smell this.
Say 600 Kansas City officers, 250 officers from other agencies, all deployed to help with security. In spite of those efforts and numbers, a mother of 2 is dead and 22 more were wounded. Fox 4's Shannon Russo spoke with a security expert tonight about what might be done at future events to prevent this violence. She's live at Union Station, where Shannon, a space is starting to build up for anyone to leave flowers and other tributes.
Yeah, Union Station has provided that space on the south side where people can drop off any flowers or tributes. We have yet to see any of that, though, but it is set up here in case folks want to stop by. Now, earlier today, we spoke with Anthony Burnside. He's a security specialist based here in the Kansas City area, but he provides security for big events. We're talking the Oscars coming up, the Grammys in the past, and also for Fox 4, we should mention. In no way is he blaming KCPD for what happened. In fact, he thinks they did a great job, but he thinks changes should be implemented at future events.
As gunshots rang out at Union Station yesterday, security specialist Anthony Burnside got caught in the chaos. He was off duty, taking in the parade as a fan.
One thing about security, the threat is ever changing.
Anthony couldn't meet with us due to a work commitment, but spoke with us by phone. He says what happened yesterday should be kept in mind when the city plans future events.
I think new security protocols will be implemented. There's no doubt in my mind it will. Going forward, whether it's metal detectors, choke points, checking people for weapons coming in, not allowing any handbags or purses or duffel bags or backpacks in.
And sorry, the audio's low. That's the news channel. Like, I have it cranked as much as the volume will go, and it's just super low. So I apologize. But he's saying they want to increase security at these events. Metal detectors, choke points, checkpoints, not allowing any handbags, purses, duffel bag. Guys, a public outdoor parade, and they're going to make you go through a metal detector now, right? You think a metal detector is just there to detect metal? When they have you walk through those devices, are we really to believe they're just detecting metal just for safety? Not buying it. How do we know that they don't basically steal all your information right out of your phone? the second you walk through there, right? How do we know there's not something more sinister going on with these metal detectors? So the fact that they're like going to start doing security checks at something like a Super Bowl parade or a parade in general, right? Out in public, an event that anyone can show up to in public. Now you got to go through a choke point, checkpoint, no bag, no purse. Oh, sorry, lady, you can't bring your purse to a parade. What are you, some sort of crazy criminal?
I think that's coming.
We asked him what he would have done differently. He reiterated the same point: metal detectors, checkpoints, and no bags of any kind allowed. Fox 4 reached out to the Kansas City Sports Commission, which said on Monday it'd been planning this parade since last fall.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours go into parade planning. We didn't wake up this morning and ask, well, what should we do?
Which said on Monday it'd been planning this parade since last fall.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours go into parade planning. We didn't wake up.
They've been planning the parade since fall. Hundreds of hours. You guys, do you realize what they just fucking said? They've planned the Super Bowl parade since fall. How can you plan a Super Bowl parade if the Chiefs hadn't made the Super Bowl yet and you don't know if they're going to win? So from now on, I think I need to look into which city's planning the fucking parade, and I won't be wrong about the Super Bowl. So this makes me picking wrong on the Super Bowl. It stings extra because now I wish I would have looked into what city was planning the parade. So next year, when there's 2 teams left, all we have to do is figure out which one's planning the fucking parade, and then we know who's going to win the Super Bowl. Because they plan it months in advance, obviously. Hundreds of hours. So are we to believe that the 49ers spent had a whole team of people also planning the parade? And all their hours of planning the San Francisco parade just in case the 49ers won was all for nothing? So there's 2 parades being planned hours before. See what I'm saying? So, guys, if they're planning the Super Bowl parade this much in advance, that means they already have the winner picked out and the location of the parade, and they're planning. You see what I'm saying? So from now on, trying to figure out who's going to plan the parade. If we can get some insider info on the parade being planned, well, then we know who wins. One more time, just in case anyone missed it.
Fox 4 reached out to the Kansas City Sports Commission, which said on Monday it'd been planning this parade since last fall.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours go into parade planning. We did.
So if you plan for hundreds and hundreds of hours and then the Chiefs get beat by the Ravens, then all that planning just goes down the shitter. So you're telling me every team who's planning a Super Bowl just in case they win? Shit. Can you believe they had just said that on TV? Can you believe they said that? I'm kind of shocked that they said that. I can't believe that they gave that piece of information up. So the Super Bowl parade is planned well in advance, which means all we need to do is figure out who the hell is being planned next year, where the parade's being planned next year. Might be Kansas City again if they three-peat. So they might be preparing for more security next year at the Kansas City parade when they three-peat, if they three-peat. See? So it might be in Kansas City again. Understand where I'm going with this? So the only way they can run a cover story here is if they're like, oh, all the teams prepare to win the Super Bowl and have a parade. And there's a parade committee for every City just in case they win the Super Bowl. And they all plan hundreds of hours. And then when the team gets eliminated, they stop planning. Right? So like the Carolina Panthers, did they have a Super Bowl party plan thing just in case that they were planning? No, they were out of it, so they didn't need to plan for them. So they only do it for the teams who are in contention. I want to hear the story, how they planned for this parade. Because it seems like they just admitted that there was a Super Bowl parade that they planned since last fall. Well, seems like they just fucked up. And I caught them. A Super Bowl parade in San Francisco would have likely featured buff guys in Stetson hats, cowboy boots, and assless chaps. What I'm saying is, like, you should be catching what I'm putting down. They planned the parade since fall, meaning they already knew there was going to be a Super Bowl winning parade in Kansas City. So if the teams, don't know who's going to win and whatnot, then that means what they're having to plan a Super Bowl parade just in case for all the cities. So you're telling me there was a concurrent Super Bowl planning committee, Super Bowl parade planning committee for San Francisco 49ers, and they spent hundreds of hours planning, and it all turned out to be for nothing because they lost. So all the hours spent to plan that San Francisco parade just went down the tubes because they lost. All the Ravens parades planning went down the tubes because they lost. See what I'm saying? They blew it. They shot themselves right in the foot, and I caught them right there. So they planned the Super Bowl parades in advance. So Kansas City was picked in advance. So if we can figure out for sure that they're going to repeat next year by figuring out for sure that they're doing a parade, I think that would be some insider information that would be worth some money. Just a little bit. So next season, 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, I think I need to try and figure out, and we all need to try and figure out who's planning the parade. So now the NFL is going to have to try and run a fake parade plan and a real parade plan to try and throw us off. So that was the most important clip that I wanted to show you.
Out to the Kansas City Sports Commission, which said on Monday it had been planning this parade since last fall.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours go into parade planning. We didn't wake up this morning and ask, well, what should we do? I can tell you we've had weeks and weeks of meetings.
We asked if security measures like metal detectors or security checkpoints were ever discussed. However, we got a response saying they won't be doing interviews until next week at the earliest. The most recent large-scale event to happen downtown was the NFL Draft, which had security screenings, a barrier, and clear bag policy. Granted, years of planning went into that, along with a lot more money, but it did ensure guest safety. During a press conference today, Mayor Quinton Lucas addressed future parades, including the St. Patrick's Day one next month.
We have parades all the time. I don't think they'll end. Certainly, we recognize the public safety challenges at issue that relate to them.
So there you go, guys. The parade was planned. since November. Right out of the news's mouth, right? Now, I don't believe what the news has to say, but that is one thing I think they're telling the truth. I do think that they planned that. I think that's truthful information that they gave us, that they planned that event since November. I don't think they're lying about that. That sounds like about the only factual thing that they gave us in that whole story, is that it was planned well in advance. That's about as much truth as you're going to get out of the news, you see? They can create a fake situation where somebody fake dies and then be like, it was planned since November. Yeah, that's the one piece of truth in the whole situation, is that it was planned. All right. Hey guys, if you've enjoyed this stream tonight, will you do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button? If the majority of people who watch hit the thumbs up, it does go a long way in these videos, doing better, getting recommended to more people and whatnot. So even though every YouTuber asks that you hit the thumbs up, it really does make a difference. I've seen that the videos where you guys smash the thumbs the most typically get recommended more and then do better. So if you guys want to see this information, get out to more people, and you appreciate what I'm doing, let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Rosebell says, any new news on the blind witness? I'm not sure I know which one you're talking about. Was there somebody who was supposedly blind who was there? Oh, there's a blind lady witness? I did not hear about that. Let me see if I can look up a video real quick. Nothing's coming up. It's just a bunch of the videos I already watched. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me if there was a blind lady. Tony Montana says, good day, Jake. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. I'm drinking a Foster's, which is fucking disgusting, mate. Not 42 uses. I never got stabbed, but not getting shot felt like it. Good one. I like that. That's my kind of humor. I've been trying to tell you guys to get out of the cities. Don't ever go to a parade. They're going to try to get you to go through a metal detector. And when they do, what they aren't going to tell you is right behind the metal detector, there's this secret compartment where little nano drones, Russian hybrid Chinese drones, fly out of the secret compartment right up your ass and they implant themselves in the inner lining of your asshole, and you will be overridden with nano AIDS. It's highly sophisticated. It's really scary. These people are psychos. You need to get out of the city right now while you still can. You might already have nano AIDS already implanted in the lining of your asshole. If you do, you're going to need to take your Bible and you're going to need to rub it against your asshole for the next half hour, and you're going to need to repent to God. If you don't, well, you're going to end up dying from nano AIDS. Like, share, and subscribe, but don't. All right. Somehow it always reverts back to nano AIDS. I've done that Richie from Boston impression so many times, and it's like somehow I end up going to drones flying up your ass, and then nano AIDS. I don't know what it is. Oh, yes, the word strong. So they attach strong to all these cities that have hosted a PSYOP. So whenever you see a city host a major PSYOP, that city's strong. You know, because getting shot and people being sad makes you strong, right? So if somebody gets shot and it's sad, and then you say a prayer, it makes you strong. So therefore, any place where there's ever been one of these psychological events, that place is strong. Strong city. It's part of their narrative. It's part of their agenda. They're going to want everybody in one of these strong cities. And a strong city is going to be a city where you have to go through metal detectors everywhere you go. You got to go through checkpoints everywhere you go. You're not allowed to carry a bag, right? Oh, you want to go to the supermarket? Well, you got to go through a checkpoint and a choke point, and you're not allowed to carry a bag. How am I supposed to carry my groceries out of the store? Well, we'll come up with something. Oh, yes, I almost forgot the clip that my friend David sent me. Yeah, so one of my subs and mods, David, sent me a clip to show you guys. And so let me pull that up right now. And thanks, David, for sending me this. This is a good clip right here.
Jake, I got something for you to see, man. This cop here, man, she clearly says actors, bro. Check this shit out. And I'm going to take a few seconds and maybe do your thing, whatever, if you want to use it. But here you go.
Million people that are able to come together for a celebration. Again, you have just a handful, or I don't have a specific number of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out.
Do you have arrests? Do you guys have minors? If you want to use it, but here you go.
Million people that are able to come together for a celebration. Again, you have just a handful, or I don't have a specific number of actors in this. Of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out. Of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out.
We have a number of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out. Well, being that's on the news and she's wearing a badge, I'll go ahead and take that as truth. I think it's a Freudian slip, but I'll go ahead and take that as being truth. Yeah, you got some actors who perpetrated some events. Sounds about right to me. I agree with that statement. See, the news does tell some truth. I like when the news tells some truth. Whether it's a Freudian slip on accident, doesn't matter. They tell some truth. Rose wants me to do my Stephen Hawking impression. It always takes a setup, Rose. I always have to like set up the Stephen Hawking impression by explaining the whole damn thing. Let me pull up a Stephen Hawking picture. We'll do that. It'll help my impression. So Rose really likes it when I do a Stephen Hawking impression. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So you guys remember Stephen Hawking? He had ALS, and he had this technology that only he got because he's so special and so smart, that they gave him this technology where like his thoughts and he could like use his eye and his brain to like talk through the speaker. And he's the only guy who got to do it. They don't let any children have this technology. No other human being gets to use it. Nope. Only him, because he's so special, right? And so basically what we ended up with was like something that looks like, it could just be a wax dummy. You just wheel out a vegetable, and then words would come out of the speaker, and everyone would just associate the words coming out of the speaker with the guy sitting in the chair. So the guy sitting in the chair, of course, looks like this. We have very many questions about the universe around us. Perhaps the Andromeda Galaxy holds Earth-like places that man can one day visit. It's an astonishing fact that the nearest quasar could hold enough gas and elements to power the world 1 billion trillion times over. Meanwhile, it's just a dude, a vegetable in a chair, a wax dummy, and the box is doing all the talking. And people just assume, oh yeah, well the box, yeah, it's coming from that guy's head. Yeah, all that guy's thoughts are coming right out of the box. Isn't it funny how he never accidentally thought something that he didn't want to say? He never had like a thought come out that he didn't want to, or that he, messed up. So I personally have thoughts where like, I don't want you guys to know. I have crazy weird thoughts that'll just show up randomly. Don't we all have crazy weird thoughts that enter our brain? Do we say out loud everything that we think all the time? No. Wouldn't that be terrible if uncontrollably you thought something and then it came out of a speaker? Like if you thought something crazy that you don't want anyone to know about, you thought something and then it comes right out of the speaker uncontrollably. See, that never happened to Stephen Hawking. So there must have been some sort of mechanism in place to keep any unwanted thoughts from coming out. Like there was never a moment where he was like, the Andromeda Galaxy is 66.6 light years away, and I'm about to shit my pants right now. Oh, didn't mean to think that. Can somebody please get me my shit bucket ready? Like, he never accidentally thinks something, that we aren't supposed to hear. He never has like an accidental thought come through the speaker. Anyway. There you go, Rose. I hope that helped. Got laughing emojis. Guess I did a good enough job. See, it requires a little bit of a setup. If I just do the impression of the Stephen Hawking box, like it doesn't quite make sense. Isn't that crazy how like no other person gets to have that technology? Nobody's as good as Stephen Hawking. Nobody's worth it. Nobody deserves that technology. You know, like a child who's brain dead, can't speak. They don't deserve Stephen Hawking technology. Nobody does, except for Stephen. Gotta love it. Oh, you know, they just had tubes where, you know, it shoots nutrients into your body with tubes and stuff. Just tubes, bro. And they passed him off as the smartest guy in the world, basically. Like he was passed off as a genius. And there was a bunch of people at home, like looking at a guy who's basically like a vegetable. And they're like, he's so smart. He's such a genius. Just listen to the speaker. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up tonight. I'm a little tired, and I pretty much covered the whole Kansas City thing and showed you guys what I wanted to show. And my opinion is that it's bullshit, and I don't buy it. So there you go. There's your Kansas City bang bang pow pow breakdown tied in to your Super Bowl. So you basically get your ending of your fake phony football season tied right into the beginning of fake phony bang bang season, I guess. That makes sense. All right. So until next time, thank you guys for watching. I will be doing more live streams on all sorts of different stuff now that the season's over. I'll be making content on all sorts of stuff. So be on the lookout for new content from me. And I plan on this summer getting to work on new music, building a studio. And so lots of fun stuff in the off season that I'm going to be working on. So hopefully you guys stick around for more than just fake football, because as I've showed you, your whole world is fake and phony and scripted, not just football. So until next time, this is Jake the Asshole. Hope y'all have a great night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. Thank all y'all. And I will see everyone next time. Jonna says, thank you, Jake. Thank you, mods, subs, and viewers. Indeed. Thank you all. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I'll see you next time. Peace.